Hi, Phil Benham here with Productdyno, and in this video I just want to give you an overview of the product. Now, our goal for Productdyno is to be the most flexible way to host and deliver any type of digital product online. So that means if you have a digital product of any kind, for instance, an info product, a PDF download, a video training system, a WordPress plugin, desktop software, or even a web-based SaaS application, Productdyno is going to help you deliver it to your audience securely and also give you a wide choice of third-party integrations like file hosting services, payment processors, email service providers, and just about any other application you might need to sell your products effectively. Now that's a mouthful, and let's see how Productdyno can live up to those lofty goals. The first thing you're going to probably want to do is create a product. Basically all you have to do is click this button and name it, and that's it. But let me go ahead and let's go through one that may have a little more depth to it. So let's click into the product. Now there's different ways you can click in. It's real easy. You can just click the manage or click the product title or the image here. You can also duplicate products. So once you get a product all set up just the way you want, you don't want to have to go through all that process again. Just duplicate it and then change the things that you want to change about it. You can also edit some of the things about the product, such as the name and the description, the image that we use here. You can also enable or disable your powered by Productdyno so that people inside of the product can, when they click it, you could put your affiliate link there and you get credit for people who may purchase it. So let's go ahead and manage your product. So when you start your product, when you create your first product, this is what you'll be greeted with. And this is what we call the manage product screen, right? So you can do just about anything you need to do with your product here. Now, some things won't be available when you go dive into these, right? Because some of them have to be set at the global level. And I'll discuss some of those in a minute. But let's just go through here and see what we can do. So domain and access, this is basically where you determine how your audience is going to consume your product, right? So you can create your own subdomain on productdyno.com, or you can enable your own custom domain. Now, so this is where your product will be. You can determine whether or not you want paid access, public access, or free access. Now, the difference between those are really cool here. So paid access, of course, people are going to buy your product. Public access means that you are allowing folks to view your product online for nothing, right? So it's just like a blog and it's out there, right? So you can send traffic to it and no one has to do anything but click on the link and view the content. Free access, on the other hand, although it sounds the same, but free access actually requires your audience to register before they're allowed to view the content. So they actually have to log in, although you're not charging them anything to do so. This is a great way to build your list if you're giving away content, especially as a bribe for their email address, okay? In that case, you'd create a free access product. Then you would also integrate your email autoresponder, so anyone who registers would go straight to the autoresponder and you build your list that way. You can also enable external content. So if we do this is telling Productdyno, hey, I don't want my content on Productdyno or even on my own custom domain, whatever. I want it on my own site, and I want to be able to protect those pages on my site using Productdyno. And you're welcome to do that. So all you would have to do is put in the first page that your customers might see on your site, right? And then you would take this copy protection code and you would put it on that page and any other pages that you want to protect. So anytime someone goes to one of those pages and they're not logged in, right, they don't have access, they won't see the page. They'll go to the custom login page that that Productdyno already creates for you, right? And then once they're logged in, then they go to this page, which is the start page you set here. Pretty easy stuff. The opportunities are endless, right? So once you choose one of these settings types, these access URLs are going to change accordingly. In other words, with paid access, I'm going to need to know where my content is when I'm not logged. This is like where they go when they're logged in. You know, the login page, or if they forgot the password page. So these are some links that you're going to need. Of course, the public access, there's no login or register or anything, right? So they could just view it here. Free access, you get your content, right? Where logged in users are going to view the content. They don't have to pay for it, but they do have to register. So instead of a payment processor registering the user after they make payment, right? So a user makes a payment to buy your product. The payment processor sends us that information and we create the account for them. But if you have free access, there's no payment processor, so the user has to register. So you need this register link, see? All right, so these things are all things that you're going to learn inside of Productdyno, but again, I'm just giving you an overview, and it's going to be a little bit longer than just a 5-minute overview, so bear with me. If you want to take a break, you're welcome to do so, and come back and view the rest of the video anytime. So now, if we do not enable external content here in the domain, if we leave this the way it is, the content for the product will be here on Productdyno, right? So let's go into this. This is the content of the product, right? This is like the bread and butter of what your users or what your audience is going to consume. And we create these for you when you create your first product. So we create these content areas so that you can kind of see how this works. You can drag these around if you want this to become we call these sections and subsections, right? But you can call them anything you want. You call them modules and lessons, and you drag these around. Okay, I want this to be there, a subsection. Let's say I want to move this whole section up here. I can do that. So I can really, get into, where all of this stuff is. Now, each of these sections that are in bold, you can actually have these on the front page of your product. So when people see the product for the first time, you maybe make one of these, like let's say just one without any content or without any subsections. You can make this, a welcome video. All right, so this will be shown on the home page once people are logged into the product. Now, when you're in these, you can also edit the content of this, right? So these are topics, subtopics. So when you go through, you can actually manage the content that's on each one of these, right? So you can have different types of content. You can add audio content, video, more likely images. You can add text. And what's really cool about this text editor is that we've kind of given you a whole lot of things to do with this, right? So you can put links in here. You can put a list in, you can center it or right align it, left align it, bold it, all this kind of good stuff. So you can do just about anything you want with this text. Let's say we want to add a video content. We can add YouTube Vimeo URLs, we can add URLs that are online somewhere, or if we have an S3 account, you would be able to upload videos to your S3 account and we'll protect those videos. So it's an added layer of protection if you're really worried about people stealing your content. So you're able to do that. You can publish and unpublish these instantly. Drip settings, you can drip these out to your customers if you want. Supporting files. All right, so we've gone through content. Now I'm not going, real deep into it, but again, I'm just kind of showing you a little bit about it. All right, so customize. Now customize is customizing your product. There's all different things that you can customize about this. Now the design is basically the look and feel of the product when your visitors come in and they look at your content, right? We talked about the sections and subsections. Well, this is a theme. We basically have a theme here, a default theme that you can change, right? So we have 2 different themes and more are going to be coming. We're actually going to open this up for developers who will be able to build their own themes and add them here into the system. But then this is where you add your logo, your favicon. You can choose the different colors. We have a custom video player, so you can choose the color for that. Choose the colors for your theme, button colors, text colors. You can add custom navigation links. You can add a footer. You have all these URLs, so in case you want to add URLs to your privacy policy, terms of service, etc. All that's here, your your heading, your tagline. Anything that can be modified with the theme would be here in the design. Now translations, remember I told you can call the sections or subsections anything you want? Well, this is where you would name that. So if in your product it'll say section, you want it to say module, so you would change that here, right? Subsection, you want to say lesson, so you could change that here. You can do just about anything you want to do here, right? So any language that the theme has or that Productdyno has on the front end, the visible end to your users, you can change that here, right? Now emails are the emails that we send when different events happen. So when someone purchases your product, we send them a welcome email. When they lose their password, they want to reset it, we send them this email. If their product is expiring soon, we'll send them this email. And if finally they have either canceled or they never made payment, and access is revoked, we send them an email here. And you're able to modify all of these things and add these variables into the text there, right? So let's go back to manage product. We went over the first 3. There's payment gateways. Now, once you have your product, you want to be able to sell it, right? So you can sell it using payment gateways. Now, you can set up your own payment processors in global integrations like with Stripe, and some that need global integration like Paddle and ClickBank. And we'll show you all those. But let's look at payment gateways. This is where you determine how you want to sell your product, right? So if you want to sell your product, let's say for $10, but then later you want to sell it for $100, but you don't want to remove it, all you have to do is create another payment gateway. So you can have multiple price points, you can use multiple platforms, right? So if you want to sell your product on JVZoo, ClickBank, and Warrior Forum, bam, you can do that with Productdyno. Just add those 3 payment gateways. You can sell them on different prices on those different platforms. It's whatever you want to do. So this is endless. You can have as many payment gateways as you want for a product. And it's real easy to do. You just give it a title, choose your gateway, and put in the required things. So sometimes, like let's say Stripe will require some more things from you. If you wanted to do Paddle, it only requires 1 thing. So it's just different based on the different gateway that you're using. Now, if a gateway doesn't have a way of getting in here, like it says Gumroad and no account found, well, that's because we haven't set it up inside of our global integrations. And with each of the videos that I talk about these gateways, you'll see how easy it is to do. So let's get out of this. I hope I've covered everything with the gateways. Now, I guess one more thing, like it says here IPN and checkout URL, right? So it's either or. With JVZoo, it's an IPN, which means that the payment processor is talking with Productdyno and they're talking back and forth about a member's access, right? Whether they've paid or whether they've canceled or the email address and everything about the member. Now with like for Stripe, for instance, this is a checkout URL. And with a checkout URL, see how there's a shopping cart here? That means that this URL will go straight to a checkout page. And the integration between our system, Productdyno, and Stripe is going to automatically work. So we don't need an IPN URL. It's all done kind of behind the scenes. This is where you want people to go to buy. So you would copy this and make it a link on your buttons, on your buy now buttons. So there's different things, little quirks about this, but As you start using it, and especially if you start using some of these platforms and you're already used to a platform, you're going to fall right in. All right, so let's go on to integrations. This is where we add different things like marketing email services. We support ActiveCampaign and many others, and I'll show you those in a minute. But we have to add them to global integrations, and then they'll be available for all of your products. And you can add as many as you want for one product. So let's say, for instance, I've had, let's say, 5 different email services set up in global integrations, and I wanted to add them all to this product. Or another scenario might be one that I recently encountered, where I was selling a product and I had a JV manager who was helping us recruit JVs. And he wanted all of the customers as a customer list for himself. That was part of our agreement. So I wanted all the customers too. Now, how do you share those emails? Well, the way most people do it is they connect their email service and then they'll download a CSV file of all their customers and then send it to their JV partner. They have to upload it to their service, blah, blah, blah. Well, in this case, you could just have them add their email service here in the global integrations and then add, like, let's say they have Aweber and I have ActiveCampaign. So we put Aweber here. When someone purchases the product, it goes to both email services automatically. All right, so that's a great way. Or you could have 5 different email services that go to all 5 of them. Transactional emails, we're using Productdyno SMTP. You can use your own. So if you have a connected account in global integrations, you'll be able to add it here. It's easy peasy. And this will kind of help brand your product, right? If you want your emails coming from a certain place, we'll let you do that. Videos and file hosting, you can add S3 accounts, you can add FTP accounts, and I'll show you those in a minute too. And this is so that when you upload videos to the content area, they're protected. Webhooks, this is awesome. Like, you can connect this to Zapier, and whenever an event happens inside of Productdyno, that event is going to be sent to Zapier, and Zapier is going to send it anywhere else you want. So you can do so much with that. And we'll discuss more of that later. Back to manage the product, we talked about everything except licensing and members. Now, licensing is a way for you to license a product. So let's say you have a WordPress plugin and you have the download, you've uploaded it as a file, a supporting file in your content, and someone downloads it. That's great. Well, what if you want to protect that? So you want to enable licenses here, and then when users download their software, they'll be able to go to a special page we create on Productdyno in the content area that'll show them the licenses, and they'll be able to copy and paste those licenses into your software. Now, although your programmer has to do some programming using our APIs, that's okay, because it's a lot easier than any of the other protection systems out there. Okay, so on to the last thing is members for our product. This is where we're going to be able to list all of our members. Now, you can add members. You can add members. You can have the status, turn them on and off as you want. You can edit whether it expires, right? Whether their access expires. So let's say you want to have a JV member, you're creating a JV member, you want their access to expire, let's say in a month from now, right? So when you create this, their access will expire here. Now the system's automatically going to send them an email and login information and everything. And this is also where all of your members are created from the payment processor or your registration pages. So all of the members are created automatically and they'll all be listed here. All right, so that's that. Back to managed product. We've done all this. Now let's talk about global integration, because I've referred to it quite a few times. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about those marketing emails. Now here I've already set up this. You saw that was the only one that was coming up. I can add anyone here. I could add Weber. I could add ActiveCampaign, Constant Contact, all these, right? And we're adding more. We're going to be adding more as we get requests for them. So anytime you add one here, it'll become available. It's a nice logo. And then once you have it available there, you'll be able to use it inside of your product integrations, right? So I could select another service here. Each one that I list in global integrations will be listed here. Okay. Now let's go back to global integrations. Let's go to transactional emails. This is where we set up our SMTP. When you have SMTP, and if you know what it is, you'll know that this is all you're going to need for SMTP, and then you can enable it in your product. The videos and file hosting, I told you could do Amazon S3 and FTP accounts, easy peasy. Payment processors, this is where we set up some of the payment processors that need to be set up this way, and those include ClickBank, Gumroad, Paddle, Thrivecart, and Stripe. Right, so Stripe, you don't need to do anything, like there's no JV system behind it or anything, it's just they take payment, that's it, right? Some of the others have some more features involved in them, but they use Stripe as a payment system. So this is basically your true payment system. We're also going to be adding PayPal in soon. All right, so, and as you can see, when you create these, it's real simple to do. I go through different videos for each one of these. The last thing here, collections. Now, we talked about products, right? So we talked about all the different products, all the things that you could do inside of products, the ways you could set them up and everything. Well, collections is a new way of looking at it, like a collection of products. You're familiar with this when you've seen something like you can have multiple products under a brand, right? Or under a site, they call it. Well, we give you unlimited collections. And then any products that you have, you can put them into collections. Now, when people buy, they buy any one of those, but they're in the collection, right? They have access to their product, but those other products are still there. So let's say they purchase the lower end basic version, and when they go in to log in to access their basic version, they can also see the intermediate and the advanced versions, right? So they'd be able to buy those again. So it's kind of a way to market your alternate products, even while keeping under the same brand. So you'll notice that when we go into manage a collection, it looks almost the same as our products. We have domain and access, same thing, right? We have, instead of content, we have products, right? So you can add all the products that you want into here. You can customize it just like with a product, okay? Design, translations, emails that are sent out, everything. You can also add payment gateways, of course. Now, payment gateways are really cool because you set these up with like products. So you can add all the products in the collection, or you can add one of these products by itself, or you can have 3 products or whatever, okay? Now, that's really neat. So you can select different products for different payment gateways, right? So you're basically creating packages here, okay? And then when we go through to integration, same thing. Now, what's cool about the integrations is that with marketing emails, you can have a marketing email for your collection, and the products that are under it those marketing emails are going to fire as well. So if they buy version A or version B, they're going to get an email based on version A or version B, if you have it set up that way. But the email that they're going to get, not the emails, I'm not saying they're going to be sent the emails, but the email of the user is going to go to your autoresponder, right? So marketing emails, I'm talking about autoresponders. So that user is going to go to the autoresponder for the product and the collection. You can set up the collection to set up an autoresponder for like general list, let's say. And then you can set up the autoresponder for the product as list for product A or list for product B, okay? So that's pretty cool. The webhooks also fire on both the collection and the product level at the same time, okay? This is all good stuff. I know it's so complicated when you're looking at it for the first time, and I hope you're taking everything that I'm talking about here just with a grain of salt, just kind of looking at it, right? We're not trying to learn anything right now. We're just kind of going through this. With members, the same thing. Here's where you're able to, like if you have, like you sold 10 products of product A and 10 sales of product B, you'll be able to filter those members by which product you have. Now, there are some payment gateways where you don't need to add global integrations, like let's say JVZoo. You just need the gateway product ID. With ClickBank, you're going to need a payment processor. Notice I've already set that up. That CB demo, right? That's the payment processor I've set up for ClickBank. Let's go look at that. Global integrations, payment processors, ClickBank, CB demo. That's it. And so some of these, you're going to be able to use them without setting them up first, and some you'll have to set up first. Resources, of course, is where we will tell you about a lot of the systems that you could use and give you links to them very easily. You go find them and sign up with them if you want. They all work with Productdyno, so get the one that you need for your purposes. All right, so I think that's it for this video. Again, my name's Phil Benham with Productdyno. Thanks for watching.